Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Katya.
Welcome to the This and That Chat. So today we're going to talk about our mamas.
Because Mother's Day was on Sunday.
Yes. We get to talk about you too. You're a mom.
Yep.
Some good stories coming up for all you listening. Huh?
From you to me? Good stories you have about me?
Yes.
We should have had the kids on for this one. It would have been good to hear some stories from them.
I don't think you could have gotten Nikki on here.
Probably not. But maybe.
Mike would have jumped on.
Yeah. He's eager to get on.
Maybe
We'll have him on soon.
Maybe we can just randomly call him.
Really? You think that's going to work?
I don't know if he'll pick up the phone, though.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. With him, it's kind of like there's days that go by that we don't hear from him. And then it's like, son, are you still alive? Well, yeah, sorry. I'm just really busy with school.
Yeah. My text to him is, hey, are you alive? And he sends me a thumbs up or whatever. And I'm like, okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. Kids are, I don't know. Like, I feel like Nikki's really good about answering text messages. He's always been so bad.
To you. Nikki does the same thing to me.
Is that right?
Yeah, I could send her a text in the morning and it'd be like 4 hours later. And be like, oh, sorry, Papa. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to somebody earlier this week about Mother's Day, like what plans they had, because I was at the salon getting my hair done, and the lady who was washing my hair told me that in her country, Mother's Day is always on May 10th, no matter what day it lands. So they always know when Mother's Day is. It's like Christmas Day. It's interesting, huh? And Father's Day is always June 17th. So I'm wondering...
How do we do it here? Is it the second Sunday?
The second Sunday, and then Father's Day is the third Sunday of the month. But I'm wondering, like, do you think it would be good? Do you think people would prefer to know this May 10th is Mother's Day?
I don't know. I think people are already...
Because it lands on a different day every time.
But I think people like to have it on the weekend.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Because Sunday get-togethers, and probably you're not working, so you're able to see your mom.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's very different here in the United States than it is in other countries.
I think every holiday here is different.
Well,
except for the 4th of July. I feel like that's the only holiday
where
that
everything makes sense.
Yes. And it's not, I feel anyway, that it's not commercialized because it's an independent celebration. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's a big celebration everywhere. There's fireworks. So, I mean, yeah, there's the market for that, but Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. They even want us to celebrate the Irish on St. Patrick's Day. You know, any chance to make some money.
And you ask somebody that is Irish, and they're going to be like, stupid American holiday. Probably has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, but Mother's Day was different this year. Mm-hmm. Because, like we said, Mike is not home because he's in college. So I didn't get to have the kids all together here, but
they came to visit us the day after.
True. No, I know, but I'm saying Mother's Day, you know, so for some reason that's the only day that I feel I do approve of the celebration, because yes, every day should be Mother's Day. I would advocate for that. Okay. But for me, I feel like, and I don't know if other moms feel this way, but I feel like on Mother's Day, I have an excuse, or I am excused to sort of take off my hat, and it's accepted that I don't do anything that day. Nikki has said since she was a little girl, queen for a day. And I accept that. Any other day, I feel like I can't. I can't stop being a mom, you know? And it's not that you stop. Do you understand? Do you follow what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
But it's like I have permission to just sit back. I have permission to be served. That's how I feel about Mother's Day. So I wholeheartedly celebrate it. What about you? What did you do? As like, did you guys treat your mom like queen for a day? Was it a big deal in your house when you were a kid?
No.
Really? Not at all? Did your dad, was he very involved?
Not that I can remember.
No cards, like, hey kids, it's Mother's Day.
I honestly don't know.
Wow.
You know, I was trying to think about it. I know that my dad always got my mom some flowers, and there were a couple times where there were some balloons and some flowers. Like it was more of a simple, Happy Mother's Day, a card, but nothing. It wasn't anything. Not like what we do, like with you. When I remember,
because you've always been very bad about that.
I'm so bad about it. I know.
Well, so it's an interesting thing, right? As a kid, I remember my dad saying, and I could never wrap my head around this, but it was almost like he was very adamant that he shouldn't have to celebrate Mother's Day. I remember countless conversations with him about, hey, it's Mother's Day. What are you getting Mom? And he always gave us the same answer. And my brothers and sisters right now, if they're listening, they're going to say it with me right now. She's not my mother. That was his answer all the time. And not in a mean and spiteful way, but it's just kind of like, don't expect anything from me. She's not my mother to buy anything for, even though he would buy her stuff. But for us, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. And we would always ask, mind you, we have no money whatsoever, right? But we would always ask her, what would you like?
The only money you had was from what you sold her on your little
right, our nickels from the last yard sale.
The yard sale.
Which I don't think we've talked about that yet.
Yeah. No, we haven't.
No.
Okay, that's not a story for this week, though.
No, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week or something.
Okay.
But we would ask her, what would you like? And you know what her answer was? Again, my brothers and sisters will be answering with me this one. Obedience. Love.
Your mom was a cheap date.
That's what she would say. And to me, it was always like, I don't know. I always wanted her to ask for something. But obedience was like, obedience, But I think that's where coupons were born out of, where we would make these things about, just trying to think about what she wanted. Like there was she liked to eat something called pupusas. And those are corn tortillas stuffed with mozzarella cheese. And there's like a cabbage salsa that you serve it with on top. So I remember making coupons for, like, I'm going to make you lunch, or a foot massage or whatever, we'll do all the laundry, whatever it is, and that was our way of gifting her something. But I have this one memory that's really funny, just thinking about all the things my mom had to put up with. My mom, like you said, she was cheap, right? She didn't ask for anything. So this story to me is always surprising, even when I tell it. But it was Mother's Day or her birthday. I can't really remember what it was, but I remember my dad was home, so it was a weekend. She was gone, who knows, with somebody, right? She was out, and all of us were home, and something happened. I'm going to skip forward so that I can go back to it, okay? But she gets home from wherever she's been out, and all of us kids run. Like, you've got to imagine, like, 8 little, munchkins running to the gate to scream and say, "Mom, Mom, Mom, come here, close your eyes, Mom, close your eyes." Okay? And she's like, what? All this excitement and everything going on around her. And my dad's out there and he's like, "Babe, close your eyes, no peeking." And he takes her by the hand, and it's like we're like a little swarm of children just moving with her. She has this big old smile on her face, right? And we take her. My mom, when she tells the story, she says she was a little bit confused because she was expecting to be walked into the house, but instead she feels like she's still being walked outside. And then we stop and we're like, "Okay, open your eyes." And she opens her eyes, expecting to see this cookware that she had mentioned to my dad that she really, really wanted. Okay. And instead is met by this big old dead snake. Okay. That we had killed in the yard, and we hung it on a tree branch, waiting for my mom to come home so we could show her. My mom says that she has never felt more disappointed because even though she was not a materialistic person, she was fully expecting that it was her special day and that's why we were making this big fuss. And instead, it was to show her a snack.
So she had already in her mind created this.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I'm moving my mic around too much.
It's all the noise.
Sorry.
Just grab it and hang it on the end. But so she was expecting this gift and didn't get it.
She got a snake.
Did she ever get it?
I don't even know if she remembers that. And the thing is like the way that her face fell, I actually think there may have been tears swimming in her eyes.
Oh boy.
The disappointment of it's her special day and she was just sure. She was sure it was happening.
That's so sad.
So it is sad.
You should ask her and see if
It's
she
so
ever
sad.
did get it. But
I don't think it would have meant anything afterwards,
Yeah.
though, to be honest.
I'm trying, like, I'm really breaking my head trying to think. Like, I don't remember any actual, like, specific gifts and stuff that we
That's
did with.
so sad. Like, I'm wondering if your
Yeah.
mom ever had like this want, a secret want. Like, I hope the kids make me a card, or I hope that they remember me.
I'm pretty sure we made. I'm sure we made cards and stuff, but I like to have a memory of it specifically. I don't. But then again, I have my memories are so scatterbrained already as they are. Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
And they're very specific to weird things. Like,
Yes.
you remember stuff that nobody remembers.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant information, but you remember that. Like the day that you remember when we went to the club and you remember the plant in the corner.
Right.
Who remembers that? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like, if I had to go back, I'm actually gonna ask my sisters before I ask my mom. Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I forgot.
But I wonder also if maybe your sisters did something special for her, and because you're the boy, maybe you were just out of it.
I don't
like
know.
out of the loop for that.
I honestly, to me, I actually think I just don't have a memory of it. Just plain and simple, don't have a memory of it. Because, I mean, I'm sure, like, I mean, there has to, we're not going to be completely oblivious to the fact that it was Mother's Day. I know that when a little bit older, I remember bringing her some flowers and like that kind of stuff. But that was more on my own accord. It wasn't anything that I could remember as like specific. I do remember going out to eat when it was an occasion like that kind of stuff. But even for birthdays, like I remember even birthdays for us, there weren't, like when we got older, they weren't really celebrated as enthusiastically as they were when we were young. Mm-hmm. So Um, yeah.
Well, do you have any like particular memory with your mom just outside of Mother's Day?
Oh yeah, there's story. I got stories there for
Okay,
sure.
well, we want to
But
hear a
I was
story.
thinking, like, I was thinking specifically to, like, specifically Mother's Day, Mother's Day. So
Well, but aside from that, I think that if your only stories come from Mother's Day, that's not a good thing either.
no, of
So I
course.
think that it's good that that people have stories outside of that with Mother's Day.
So when we say stories, do they have to be particularly stories that pertain to me? Because I've got some good stories, and there's one particular story that I'm wanting to share, and my sister's gonna kill me for it, but I'm going to anyway.
Okay.
So I remember, so my mom worked close enough to the house where she would come home. I'm laughing, and I'm not even telling the story yet.
Oh my god.
Oh, goodness. My mom, she could come home for work from work for lunch, and towards the latter years of high school, I'd skip school and I'd come home for lunch too. So I'd always run into my mom at the house or whatever, and
Just as a side note, when she saw you home, she didn't say, "What are you doing home from school?"
no, my grades were good. As
And
long as my
skipping doesn't give you bad grades?
no, I'd go back to school.
Oh, okay. So you just skip out to go to lunch.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to.
Security back then was not any good.
Well, no, we knew the security guy, so we'd wave at him on the way out. Anyways,
Okay. Back
so
to the story.
until I had, because okay, so as a senior at the school where I was, you had the privilege of leaving campus for lunch, but that's something that you earned. But when I got my car, I was like, I got a car, so privilege comes with it. I'm going home, and I just started doing it from then. So I would, in the morning, I'd park in the senior parking lot, even though I wasn't a senior. So when I left, I was leaving from the senior parking lot. So a lot of times it just wasn't even stopped. But anyways, so I would meet my mom. I'd run into my mom at the house for lunch sometimes. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes it would. Just depends on when she took her lunch. And well, before we get to the story I was going to share, so I'll share another little side tidbit, and this was with me. So we got into Days of Our Lives. So
Really?
yeah, so we'd come home and my mom she'd have Days of Our Lives on the on the TV while she was eating lunch, and I remember the storyline. So anyone who watched Days of Our Lives back in like 98, 99 would remember this, where they started to kill off characters and they were just dying like one after another after another. And what ended up happening was that they were sent off to a secret island, right? And they were killed off in the real world. And then they were in this other island with like memory loss, thinking they were still in their previous lives. So it was like 2 days of our lives going on at the same time. It was really interesting. Whatever. I enjoyed it. Anyways, we'd sit down and we'd watch it or whatever, and we never watched the full
Right.
episode
You were always
because
like,
it
"What
was always in and
happened?"
out and always trying to finding out, and there was no internet for us to go back and check, what happened the night before. Anyways, so this one particular time, my mom gets home, and I was already there, and I hear her on the other side of the house just like lose it. Like she had enough. It was the tipping point, and all I could hear is whoosh, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And when I passed by my sister's room, my mom had literally taken the disaster of a room that my sisters had. It was so bad. I don't know where she was pulling clothes out from. I don't know where she was pulling stuff from, but she made this huge pile in the middle of the room on the floor. The room was clean except for that pile. And she did it in like 5 minutes. I've never seen anybody move that fast.
Well, it's very easy to make a pile in the middle of the room.
Like everything was pushed into the center of the room. And then she looks over at me and says, when you get home this afternoon and your sisters get home, you tell them that I expect for this room to be 100% clean before I get home from work. And I'm thinking to myself, how did I get pulled into this thing? Why?
Because you're there.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. I, to this day, still remember that pile. That pile was huge. I don't know what was going on, but my mom was pulling clothes and stuff from like the back, like the head of the bed, like that crack that falls down. There was clothes in there, stuff from under the bed, like just piles of stuff.
My mom never allowed our rooms to get like that. My mom took it a step further, okay? If you weren't careful, you would come into your room and you'd be like, hey, where's Mr. Snuffles? Where is he? Anybody seen my Mr. Snuffles? Yeah, Goodwill has it. You left stuff out of place, she would go off to Goodwill. Goodbye. So you had to make sure that your stuff was always put away, always fixed. Otherwise, if it's out of place, catches her eye, gone. Just like that.
That's horrible.
But horrible, yes.
How many stuffed animals were sacrificed?
There weren't even that many to begin with. But I'm thinking, like, having 8 kids, you have to run a tight ship.
I would think so.
Like, if it's
things would fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like my mom, if she was any, like, you know how in the old times they used to say that cleanliness was next to godliness?
Okay.
For my mom, organization and neatness was next to godliness. I don't think that there was ever a time at all that I can remember our house being a mess. Unless it was my dad's projects. Okay? Because my dad is notorious for...
Leave that for...
Okay. Leave that for Father's Day.
Leave that for Father's Day. It's good material. Listen, I've got dad stories. Did I share? I think I shared one.
Don't start sharing dad story. We'll save that.
Yeah,
But
for another day.
she was militant when it came to organization. Okay, so that floor was always spotless. She swept and mopped, and when I say she, I mean she directed. Mm-hmm. Okay, because everybody had chores. Everybody had something to do. I remember, like, the windows needed to be scrubbed. The screen and the glass needed to be scrubbed at least once a week. At least. You know? The outside walkway, bleached and scrubbed. Like, everything. She liked keeping a clean house, which, with 8 kids, I don't even know how you can manage to strive for that. That's, like, perfection.
Everything that was being done wasn't so much to keep the house clean. It was to keep it from going completely haywire.
Well, and also
with that
maybe
many
to
people.
keep us busy.
Yeah.
I think it's also, you know, the way that teachers give homework for busy work. I wonder if that was just keep it busy. One thing that my mom used to do that now I laugh about was, and whoever was stupid enough to do this, sometimes you just have like a lapse in judgment, right? And you were walking around moping and whining, right? I'm bored. And she'd be like, you're bored? I'll give you something to do. You won't be bored anymore. It doesn't matter that at that moment you got your wits about you now and you realize what you've done. It's too late.
That's it.
It's too late.
Judged and sentenced.
All of a sudden you find yourself scrubbing windows. Okay?
But Mom, I just cleaned that window. Clean it again.
Okay. And if all the chores were done, weeds. You'd have to go pull weeds. Okay. But no, don't bored. Are you kidding me? There is plenty to do. So sometimes if you were in a good mood and you heard your sibling start whining about I'm bored, you'd be like, shh, what are you doing? You're going to get chores. And then other times you'd be like, sink your own ship. But talking about a snake, I remember, and I know that a lot of people are going to find this completely crazy, but I think that you sort of get a little glimpse of why I am the way I am, right? I think that there's a lot of quirkiness that I get from my mom. I think I get a lot of it from my dad, but she has her own things too. So she has always been super fearless, right? She, even now, living in the woods of South Carolina, she puts on her snake boots and she goes out there with a machete and she's out there in the woods alone chopping through overgrowth. And she's got her machete just in case she sees a snake. She's ready to take it out. Okay.
But she got her snake boots on.
She's got her snake boots on. Okay, because of the tall grass. But that the killing of the snakes has been since I was little, right? And so she would walk around the yard, and it's so interesting because I've always wanted to see a snake in our yard here, and I've never seen it. And other people have posted, oh, I have a garden snake or a corn snake or whatever, and I've never seen one.
It's because we keep our yard too clean.
And maybe because of the dogs, maybe, but we had dogs too, so they didn't chase them away either.
But our yard now is like manicured.
Now though, but talk about a month ago over by the plantains, we've got like this whole patch of plantain trees that was super I don't know, overgrown.
Yeah, but it wasn't on the
you
ground.
couldn't see through.
It wasn't
Wow.
on the ground. It was hanging off the plantain trees. So it's
Either way, a lot of the snakes that people are reporting that they're finding are also pythons. So I don't want to find a python.
None of those. None of those.
I do not want to find.
I sent you that picture, or I showed you that picture. I was driving back home, and right on the corner here, there was a guy had that thing looked like a 12 or 15-foot python tied with a rope to the back of his truck. Pulled it out of the avocado field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to find that.
No.
No.
You imagine.
I'm not scared of the snakes, right? But a python, you're contending with something entirely different.
And we're close enough to the Everglades that that's possible.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been killed right out out here.
Yep.
But anyway, so she would go out, and I mean, you were at our yard before they sold their house. The yard was never overgrown. It didn't have anything where you would be like, oh yeah, that's a snake nest right there. No, but snakes were there all the time. My mom used to say it was because of the hedge.
The hedge, yeah.
Because of the berries, and they liked that, right? So she would go out there, and then you'd hear the sling of the machete, right? And of course, everyone hears that. Everyone knows.
Yeah,
Everybody runs out there, right? Everybody runs. Like, it's like a magnet, just drawing all of these. Did you ever do magnet shavings and use a magnet to like pick it up? Did you ever do that? Or metal shavings?
On an Etch-a-Sketch.
When my dad would
wait. Or the little card with the face. Do you remember this thing? It was like a little, you could get it
the man.
Yeah, the little man.
Yeah, that you can draw hair and a mustache.
I think you can still get that same exact thing at the dollar store.
Well, I know for sure that it is at Cracker Barrel.
Is it at Cracker Barrel?
I've seen it there.
Yeah, I used to love that stupid thing.
Okay, well, when my dad was doing work outside, he would cut some metal or something, and I discovered that if you took a magnet out there, you could pick up all these tiny little pieces. So I'd collect these like metal shavings to do that. Okay, I played with the real stuff. So you hear that, right? And it's like us just running towards my mom, like this magnet, right? And it's like, what happened? What happened? And she would triumphantly hold up this snake that she has killed. And then she would get like this gleam in her eye and this like smile that you knew. You know that whole video that goes around that it's like, run. And then the song kicks in?
Mm-hmm.
That's what would happen.
She'd chase you with it?
She would twirl it around over her head like for it to get speed, like a boomerang. And then it was like, you know how moms throw the sandal?
Mm-hmm.
My mom never threw a sandal.
I have another story.
Okay, good. She was marksman throwing that snake. Okay? And for some reason, when I was a kid, I had to wear leg braces. So I had these like metal.
Like Forrest Gump?
Did Forrest Gump have to wear that?
Yeah, that's how he started running and they broke off.
I don't know. I don't want to say yes, but perhaps. Maybe if I find a picture of it, I can see. But I did have to. They started up at my waist, and then they connected to special shoes that I had to wear. So
Yep,
I
Forrest Gump.
always say that I always ran slower than everybody else because I was being held back by those things, okay? But before Matrix invented the bending in half and being able to move like that, I invented that move. Okay, yeah, except that mine would only run on the outside. He has them running on the inside as well.
Right. Well, remember, this was set back in like the 60s.
Okay, yeah, but it was kind of like that. Yeah, I had to wear that. Right?
Run, Forrest, run.
My sister Melissa, she was the fastest of us all. She was like a cheetah. You would never be able to catch her. And for some reason, I was the one who always. So if you had video of this, my mom flings the snake, and here it comes, like marksman. It's coming right at me, and here I go, like Matrix, like bending myself backwards, right? And it's just like I remember, like flying over my head, or like missing me. I could bend my back the wrong way, like a C. Do you understand that? Do you understand? So it would miss me.
I wish we had video of what you were doing right now. She's on, like, she forgets that she's speaking into a mic, and she's like bending back and like arms flailing. It's the Matrix happening in our living room.
And that's what it was. And she would laugh, right? And then every time she killed the snake, all of us would run over there, and it was like, everyone would understand, run. Oh my God. And no matter how much you screamed, please, please. Oh my God. She was just faster. And she'd throw it, and if she missed, she'd pick it up and throw it again. But that was funny memory. And we liked it, even though it was scary. I don't know what was scary about it. It's dead. I don't know if it was just like a yuck thing. I don't know.
Yeah, yuck thing.
So what's your story?
Oh boy. My sisters are going to kill me.
Yeah,
Listen.
I hope they don't listen to this episode.
Listen, I was smart. See, I knew.
I feel like because we're the oldest, because that's another thing we haven't defined that, right? We're the oldest in our families.
Both of our sides.
And I agree. I feel like I would sometimes look at my siblings and be like, "You idiot! You have to be smarter than that. You dunce." No, hold on. Peter has like he's having like a choking moment right now.
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks for calling me out. I'm gonna call you out now.
He's like over here saying,
keep talking. Give me a minute.
I only could think about you choking. Sorry.
Whatever.
Okay, so then.
Okay, so I was smart. Like, I figured out my parents pretty young. Like where we first lived, when we lived next to my...
It's called survival of the fittest.
Yeah. When we lived next to my grandma's house, we only had one bathroom in the house. Okay? And it was in my parents' room. And if you're a kid and you get up in the middle of the night, you need to go to the bathroom.
Stupidest design in the world.
Horrible. Okay? You get up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the bathroom, right? So I remember standing at my parents' door debating, do I knock? Because I go to the bathroom. What do I do? And I do my little dance and all this whatever. But then I'd remember when my sisters knocked and my dad's like, it's 2 a.m, go to bed. Like, I'm like, I don't want to get screamed at. I'd have to figure it out. So I'd climb on the counter in the kitchen and pee in the sink.
Oh my God.
Well, I had to do what I got to do.
That's smart though. I hope
You
there
know?
weren't any dishes.
Listen, I don't
You're
know.
smart enough.
Thank God I didn't need to do something else.
Well,
but anyways,
a bag.
But like there, like things like that. Like I don't know. Like I always made sure my room was super clean. I remember getting yelled at one time because it was late at night and I'm sweeping my room. That's how meticulous I was. But I never had anything
You would
said.
have liked my mom's militant household.
Well, I wouldn't need your mom to do her militant thing. It was already done. Anyways, so we were still living in the house up next to my grandma. And we had the kitchen with like the cutout counter. Like that you look into the kitchen.
Yeah,
so it was like closed off. And there was some stools or whatever that were there. But I remember my mom's in the kitchen and she's washing dishes, and my sisters are sitting in front of the TV and they're just arguing. Like, just arguing. And my mom was like, enough. Like any parent would. Like, goodness, stop fighting. Like, give me 5 minutes of peace. And my mom took her sandal and she flung it from the kitchen. Like, I think she was still washing dishes when she threw that thing. So she was in the middle of washing dishes, reaches down, grabs her sandal, flings it through the opening over the couch, and hits one of my sisters with it. Then tells the other sister to pick up the sandal and bring it back to her. So she picks up the sandal, has to do the walk of shame. Okay, my other sister's now crying in the living room on the floor after being smacked in the back of the head with a sandal, and my other sister's walking to the kitchen, sandal in hand, and hands it to my mom. And what does my mom do? Grabs the sandal, reaches over, and whoosh, one good one on the side of the leg. My mom liked that it wouldn't be the butt, it was the thigh, like the side. And I remember being like, well, damn, my mom's a superhero. Look at that. Like, it was, like, that thing flew.
Well, there's stories I've heard about that.
Like, oh, it's crazy. Like, the stories that you hear about La Chancleta are real.
Wow.
Like, it happened in real life. Like, dead on accuracy. It was incredible. But my sisters were always on the end of that.
Yeah.
So, goodness, I just remembered another story, but it's my sisters again.
But where are you? Can you come up with it? Because you're telling on them.
I know,
this
but
is not good.
I'm in the background. I'm
You're only observing?
I'm observing, making sure that I'm good. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like getting in trouble.
Okay, but do you have any stories that like was just like something funny that your mom did with you, or was your mom always like very put together and serious? Was she like not like getting to the kill a snake and chase you around the yard with it?
No, my mom was not a kill a snake and chase you around. No way. My mom was like, there's a snake in the yard, close the doors.
There are scorpions where you live.
Yeah, goodness. I have to tell you the story because it's going to bug me if I don't tell it.
Okay, tell it.
Sorry, Jenny. That's my little sister. Anyways, so they're in the car.
You don't, just so you know, you don't look sorry.
Oh, I'm not sorry.
Okay, so let's skip the apologies then.
So my little sister was playing with a quarter, and she had it in her mouth. Like, she was little.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm going there.
Because I already know where the story's going.
Yeah. So it was right around this time because well, the end of the story happened at my other sister's birthday, which is in April, at the end of April. So, anyways, so she accidentally swallows the quarter. And my mom freaked out, as any parent would. You just swallowed a quarter. And I remember they got to the house and they were running, like just, they were going to take her to the hospital. And my mom packs packs her up, whatever they need to do, and they take her to the hospital. And my poor mother, goodness, the things that she had to do because of my sister playing with this quarter. It was a birthday party that was happening, and I remember I told you guys about birthdays for us. They were a pretty big deal. We had decorations and always like these bigger type parties. But this one was happening at our house. We were just using our terrace space on the back. And it was all set up and everybody's there. I'm sure we probably had a pig being done in the cajachina. It was a full on, everybody's there Cuban party. And my little sister, per the instructions of the doctor, they said, okay, we'll give her, a week, let it pass through the system.
A week, wow.
Right? And if... What happened to you?
Did you see that?
No.
Oh, God. Okay. There was a bug that landed on my head.
Let the natural process of the body pass it, right? And the way it comes out, y'all know how it comes out. My mom had to check it. So my poor little sister had to sit on the toilet and poop into a bag.
This is a terrible story that you're telling.
Why?
This is just, if I were your sister,
I know, hold on.
I would be very mad.
But it's funny how it ends. So we're at the party, and she needs to go to the bathroom. And my mom runs, and they go do their thing. And my mom triumphantly comes out and announces to the whole party, who already knows what has happened in the last week, triumphantly holding this quarter in her hand, okay? Well, in her gloved hand, because I remember she had those palm olive yellow gloves. And she's holding this quarter in her hand saying, "It's out! Woohoo!" And it was just this the party was, I don't know, the party was that much better after that. I think it was just a double celebration.
Yeah, but also if she's stressed out, that's another thing. It's when mom is stressed out, I don't know about you, but we could always feel that.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of those things
even to this day. I haven't lived at home for 21 years. And I can talk to my mom, and in 30 seconds of talking to my mom, I can tell when she's stressed.
And it's you feel it different. You feel it different than if dad is stressed. Yeah, I don't know if different. I don't know if it's because dads are stressed often, but a mother's emotions, I think, affect kids different. I think. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
it's a different bond. I remember with my mom, I was a picky eater. I was super.
Oh, please do tell the story because I'm very interested in listening to this.
Super.
I'm judging you right now, just in case that didn't come across.
Super.
Picky.
Super.
What kind of picky eater were you?
Super.
What kind? The kind that doesn't like bone in their chicken?
Super picky. Did I say I'm super picky?
Okay. I'm judging you. I'm going to say why I'm judging you.
Listen, you can judge me all you want.
But I'm going to say why, and you're never allowed to say anything about it again.
We are talking about my mom. We're not talking about me.
Well, I'm talking about me as a mom.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
So, being a super picky eater, okay, my mom would take the time to make sure.
Did you appreciate that?
Of course I appreciated it.
Okay.
Stop interrupting.
Okay, no, just I'm following along.
She would take the time to make sure that whatever was on our plate was exactly
How you wanted it.
how we wanted it so that we would eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Continue.
You're stepping all over my
I'm
story.
so sorry.
I'm talking about my mom
Go ahead.
and how she cared and loved for us.
Yes. Talk to me about your
Oh my
picky
goodness
eating.
gracious, woman. I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
Okay, I'm just going to
Anyways.
interject. That way you can finish your story.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you are the worst when it comes to me doing that for our children. When I debone chicken because our daughter doesn't want chicken bone with her chicken, okay? Or when I would serve our son cereal because he was studying. You were on me like, why are you babying them? Why are you deboning chicken? If
Let-
she doesn't like it, she can take it out herself.
Let me
Anyway,
be.
I digress. Continue.
Anyways, so like she would like those are the kind of things that she would do, like just to make sure that we were, we were good. But then it was like there was. I'm not saying it in a bad way, because it's gonna sound bad, but like, and I'm sure your mom was the same way. Like there was the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. No.
Well, continue. I don't know if
Oh.
I can agree with you yet.
Like you'd have like both, like there were both sides, and one moment you could have Mr. Hyde, and then it was Dr. Jekyll. But I learned how not to entice Dr. Jekyll.
I never learned that one.
Oh no, I
never
did.
learned that one. Because again, I'm telling you, I had militant mom and then I had chase you around the yard with a snake mom. Okay. So it just depends. I mean, and like you have to think about this. Hormones, heat, 8 children, the noise alone. I remember thinking in my head when I was 13, 14 years old, okay? I never am going to have this many children. Although I have nothing but fabulous stories to tell about being part of a big household, right? I could not stand the noise, and I was in that house. The older I got, the noise got to me. It was like there was never silence. And so how she put up with that, it's like there's, for example, so there's like things that happened when I was a kid that I didn't understand until I became an adult, right? So my dad, on Sundays sometimes with the church or whatever, they would say, hey, we're going to go to the beach or we're going to go to the park, whatever it is, right? And we would go out and you pack a lunch, you're doing all this stuff. For us it was very exciting because remember, we didn't grow up going to Disney or going to vacations or stuff like that, right? So going out to the park was a big deal. Going out to the beach was a big deal. Those were really big deals.
You were moving a baseball team.
I guess, right? So most of the time I remember my mom would not go with us.
Well, that was her time to breathe.
As a kid, I did not understand that.
Yeah.
As a kid, and my dad, I've told him this as an adult, but he did not do a good job of helping us help her rest. Because I feel like selfishly he wanted her with him, So he would tell us, go tell her to go. Go tell her that we're all very sad that she's not coming. So now you've got all of these kids begging, pleading, Mom, please, please. And she would be like, no, go have fun. You're going to have so much fun. And when you get back, I'm going to have a delicious dinner, or she was going to make a dessert for us or something. We didn't care about the dinner.
Yeah,
we didn't
and
care about the dessert.
And it wasn't like she was just going to sit home and go to sleep.
No.
It was just her time to just be quiet and do.
I did not understand that.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that I feel like I always, I wanted her there and she wasn't there, but I couldn't understand the burden, especially, mind you, being a stay-at-home mom, being a homeschooling mom, she never had a moment to herself. And yet, most of my memories, she is involved in something. She's involved in a game that we're playing. We would have talent show time, all right? And I was the director. I was either making a movie or planning a musical, and she had a part to play in it. You
And
know,
see that
when we
was
would
some.
set up, I'm sorry, when we would set up, like, what we're going to talk about later, when we would set up games or stuff like that, she would come and participate to some degree in it because we were like, Mom, please. So there was always something that she was involved in. And I'm just thinking, like, when did she have time for herself? She didn't drive. She never left. I don't know how she didn't go crazy.
See, you had it. For you, it was a little bit different than me. You had your mom at home the entire time, and you guys were homeschooled. For me, my mom was home, and then she wasn't, and then she was, and then she wasn't, because she went to work. She had a stint of work in between. I want to say I was like 8 or 9 years old. I think it was right when Jenny went to kindergarten that she went back to school. So Jenny's 5 years younger than I, so must have been like that 9 years old, 10 years old. And then when we moved to the Keys, because the Keys were so expensive, she had to go back to work. But at that time, like, Jeanette was in middle school. No, Jeanette was just finishing elementary. I was in middle school, and Jenny was in elementary. But, like, I remember her, like, still making sure that the house was in order, that, like, she never stopped. I'm sure your mom never did either.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, even thinking about that for your mom, like, she sacrificed things in order to give you something better.
And let me tell you, my dad helped a lot with, like, cooking and, like, that kind of stuff, or, like, prepping and getting it ready before my mom got home. I remember that when we lived in Miami, when my mom was working, she was working at a law firm, and I remember that my dad would help with meals because she would come home later because the law firm worked later. And but even with that, there were times where my mom would come home and things were prepped to cook, but she always got into the kitchen, always made food, always, and it was, it wasn't like a can of ragu and spaghetti. No, it was food, and like that's something that I always can put hand in hand with my mom. Like, when I think of my mom, the first thing I think of is the amazing food that she makes. Like, for me, it's the rabo encendido, the yuca, the congri.
The garbanzos.
Like, oh my goodness. Sorry.
That's how she spoke love to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It was through her food, or that's how you perceived it anyway.
Yeah. Even from, like, when she would make sure that we were eating, when all those little things, to like, even now, like, when we go to visit my mom, it's like her first question is, "What do you guys want to eat?" And when we go to leave, like, we've got Tupperware of stuff.
And it's so funny because it's one of those things where I think that moms have different ways of showing love and care that way. But, that just, I mean, we didn't ever get around to talking about me at being a mom. But I feel like, anyway, I wanted to talk more about our mothers, but, having, like, I also had the opportunity to stay home with our kids through a chunk of their life, and it was
until the kids went to high school,
right. So for me, it was priceless.
And that was a choice that we allowed our kids to make.
To go, you're right, right, to go to high school if they wanted to, right? But I'm saying, the staying home, that was a choice we made, knowing that it was going to mean we were going to do without, and that we were not going to get to our financial goals as quickly as we had wanted to, or buy a house as quickly as we wanted to. Like, even look, we just bought a house 5 years ago. This is just when our kids finally went to school, when I went and got a job, those things. So, but to me, I
You're
feel
going
like,
to school now.
right, right.
Like
And well,
it's yeah.
that's yet another thing to talk about for another day. But I feel like there's people who had, and I think I discussed this in our on a previous episode. Like, I didn't ever have dreams about specific things. Like, I didn't dream about like traveling the world or being a doctor. I dreamt about being a mother. That was my dream, was that I wanted to be a mother. And and I'm so incredibly blessed and fortunate and thankful to have been given that opportunity to be a mom, because I know that that is a lot of women's dreams that are not, they haven't come to fruition yet. But to me, I feel like I've heard so many parents throughout the years talk about, I've had many people ask me throughout the years, how can you be home with them 24/7? I could never. I can't. I wasn't made for that. And I understand that. I understand that not every woman is made for that, and there's no judgment, and there's nothing wrong with, a mom who chooses to have a career and raise her kids. I feel like, like, I tip my hat to you. I don't know how you have a career and raise your kids at the same time, but to the women who can do that, that's amazing. But not to discount the countless of moms who are home with their kids. There's something that's just, I could never trade that. I feel like I not only because I got to watch our kids' first milestones and be able to watch them grow up, but I was part of that with them. And my personality being more of, let's build a fort and let's go out and explore and let's play in the rain and all of that stuff. To me, it was just, this is what my childhood was like, and I wanted them to live that,
Did your mom let you do that?
No, so that is interesting, right?
So
Because it was my dad who let me do that.
that was my mom who would let us do that.
Interesting,
I
so
remember so many times where we were just outside and she'd make it seem like she was getting on the angry side to get us to come in. I need to ask her to see, because it was never with urgency. Like,
Okay.
she would always let us stay just long enough for us to enjoy it out there, and then, okay, now let's go.
Because you're gonna catch your
Because you're
death
gonna
of cold.
yeah, whatever it is.
Right. But yeah, so he would let us do that. He let us play in the mud, right? But my mom did other things, like, she had this thing where she introduced me to all the movies that are classics, that you talk to this generation now and they're like, "What are you talking about? Sound of Music? What?" They don't know what any of this is, and our kids can quote lines from it. I got to share that with them. The love of reading, that was from my mom. Nikki is a phenomenal baker, and she got that from my mom. So there's like these different things, just components, I guess, of both of my parents that I was able to share with them and instill with them. And I know that the same way that a lot of my memories involve my parents being, mishaps and funny things and all the stuff that happened, they're in that picture. I know that that's what the kids, what that's going to be like. And I remember even being a young mother, because I was a mom at 19, I didn't feel scared or overwhelmed or I have no idea what I'm doing, because I had been my mom's right hand for all of the younger siblings, so
And that I can attest to.
taking care of a baby was second nature.
Yeah, it was. I listen. I For me, I was like, oh crap, things are changing, and you were like, it's Tuesday, like So that's something that definitely was a plus in that, and I feel that our kids are going. Well, our son is out there, and he's like, I'm not worried about if he's gonna eat or if he's gonna have stuff done. Like, we took the time to make sure that our kids are self-sustaining,
very independent, able
um,
to
and
take care of stuff for themselves.
both our parents did a very good job of that, in different ways. Like, you knew how to keep a house. I knew how to not let the house burn down. Like, there was two different, like, we were like half pieces of this puzzle that kind of came together. And it was the lessons that we learned at home. And some of those lessons come from your mom. Some of them come from your dad. Some of them are, put together, bits and pieces that you kind of have over the years. But to say that we are grateful for what our parents did for us and what our mom did for us
specifically mom, because and when it's dad's turn for dad's episode, we'll say thank you to dad, but particularly in this episode, I do want to acknowledge that there are so many things I didn't understand until I became a mom. As much as I was ready to be a mom, I didn't understand. And afterwards, being able just to see my mom in a different light, to be grateful for things that it's like I'm struggling with 2 as toddlers, and you had 8. A couple of them, maybe 3 of them, still in diapers at the same time, and she did it. She made it look easy. She made it look like she was a super woman, and just thankful for
if there's one thing that you could say you got from your mom as a trait, okay, I'll go first. That way you can. Maybe I'm not saying it the right way. Like,
the first thing that popped into my head was bad.
Was what?
It was not good.
Goodness, horrible. For me, it's how to be nurturing.
Oh.
That's twice already that you just step over me.
I'm only laughing because your answer is so sweet and mine was so bad. I'm going to share my answer, but
okay.
Oh my God, I feel so guilty now. Okay, continue.
Anyways, so that trait, I think, was a learned trait for me, and that came from her. Go ahead.
Because you're very intimidating when people see you, and so you're saying that she gave you a softer edge.
Well, no. So I have a hard shell.
Yes.
But I'm ooey gooey on the inside.
Yeah, you are, and not many people get to see that side.
No,
it's special. You reveal it only to special people.
Well, I reveal it to people who actually spend 5 minutes with me.
I don't know. I think we need a little more than 5 minutes, but what I thought about was scheming. That's the first thing that I thought about. The way we scheme, the way that we get out of messes. If I can attribute one thing to my mother.
But that's not bad.
That is bad.
Are you kidding?
Scheming is a bad thing.
Listen.
Scheming is a bad thing.
Whoever is listening.
I can get out of it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Whoever is listening out there. Denise has gotten us. Well, kept me. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah, you call me that when you're mad at me or something. I don't
Well,
recognize
you
it.
listen. Hold on. Twice already today, while I'm trying to share,
I'm sorry.
you're like over there laughing. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
yeah. Denise is what you get today.
Wait, the Jekyll and Hyde. You got that from your mom too.
Dun dun dun.
Because I've learned how not to
Well,
push that Jekyll.
you got Jekyll right now. Okay. I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
You can attest to the fact that I have gotten us out
Oh
of.
yes. Okay. Listen, this trait is gold. If I could bottle it and sell it,
I don't think
we
we
would.
should be sharing this.
I don't care. Listen, we could be millionaires. We can be like Jeff Bezos would be calling us, asking for a loan. Okay, if we could bottle this up and sell it. Okay, because let me tell you, sticky situations we are familiar with, and
It is an art.
It isn't. It is yes. Okay, and Ketmia has done something magical in a few of those situations where she has informed me that we are good now, and I'm like, I thought I was going to jail for the rest of my life. It felt wrong.
My mom and I have made a pact, actually. A pact
About what?
that if they give us one phone call, we're calling the other. We have prepared for this scenario where
Just
we
the
go
fact,
to jail.
just the fact that you are prepared is scary.
Anyway, I know she's laughing if she's hearing this, but she and I have had so much fun together, getting out of situations. Just, yeah, it's just funny. But one last thing I'm going to share about my mom before we close is something that has stuck. I mean, she's taught me so many lessons throughout life, but there's one thing that I remember. I was a kid, all right? I'm going to say maybe 8, 9 years old when this happened, all right? Our free time, if you weren't reading, you were drawing because there was no TV and there was really no toys that I remember that you had to play with. So that's what you were doing, or playing outside. But I was drawing this picture and I messed it up. I did something that I wasn't meant to do. And I took it to my mom and I was so upset. And I told her, I messed it up. Look, it's garbage now. And she took my crayons and she said, it's not messed up. Look. And she took the mess up that I had made and she started drawing on top of it and making it part of the picture. And what she created has stuck with me my entire life, that there is nothing that can be so messed up that there isn't a solution for. And I think that that's where the sticky situation
You
thing,
just took scheming and made it sound pretty.
that's incredible
So
because
you just schemed us into thinking it's
unbelievable. Thank you, Mom,
Listen,
for that lesson.
as a disclaimer. If we're not back next week and I'm gone,
Stop it. That's for the true crime episode.
look into the schemer.
But I'm just even thinking, like, there's so many times throughout life that I've been able to recall that and know there has to be a solution. No
Yeah.
matter how bad it is, there has to be something that can be done. And sometimes the solution's a little bit longer in coming because there are situations in life where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's bad right now, but it isn't the end. I have not yet come to a situation where it's like, okay, well, no, this is the end, But anyway, something very powerful that I'm sure didn't mean anything to her. She was probably trying to make me happy.
Yeah.
And it was so impactful that stuck with me.
And
Till
here
now.
and here is truth to end our time together. You never ever stop learning from your mom.
That is the truth.
Because
No cap, like the kids say.
yeah.
Did I say that right?
Oh God. Stop trying, because let me tell you something.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh hi.
think we need to wrap up already.
Yeah, we need to wrap up.
I'm losing it over here.
You need to call your mom and learn your manners, okay? No. Hey guys, just to wrap this up for today. There's so many stories to share. I don't think we could have even started to really fit it into this little time together. So I'm sure you'll hear many more of these stories in that time. But that's just a little bit of our moms and kind of what they have done to shape us to who we are. And we're so grateful for them. I'm grateful for my mom. Definitely, even now at this age, I still know that I can call her up and I'm a little boy to her again. So I appreciate that. Love you, Mom.
And I guess this is the end.
Yeah, that's the end.
Okay.
Bye, guys. We'll see you guys next week with a...
Dun, dun, dun. That's it.
No?
No. Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Cliffhangers.